Hello there and welcome. Today we're going to walk through a really straightforward financial checkup designed just for your retirement years. Think of it like a 10-point inspection for your money, all about putting you in control and helping you protect that nest egg you've worked so hard to build. So let's jump right in.
This quote really hits home. This checkup isn't about blaming anyone or pointing out mistakes. It's about recognizing a simple truth. As we get older, the whole financial game changes. The rules and strategies that got you to retirement aren't always the ones you need in retirement. This is all about awareness and taking back control.
We've broken our 10-point checkup into 4 main parts. First up, we'll talk about your retirement paycheck. Then, we'll get into some of those big hidden costs you need to plan for. After that, we'll focus on how to protect your savings from outside threats. And we'll wrap it all up with some smart financial housekeeping that'll give you real peace of mind.
All right, Section 1, your retirement paycheck. For most of us, this paycheck comes from 2 places, right? Social Security and the money we pull from our savings, like a 401k or an IRA. And maximizing that paycheck also means keeping as much of it as possible from taxes. So we'll also touch on some overlooked tax breaks you might be able to use.
Okay, this is a really big one. Deciding when to turn on that Social Security tab can have a huge effect on your income for the rest of your life. And the most important thing to get is that there's no magic right answer for everyone. It really comes down to your personal situation, your health, and what other money you have coming in.
So here's the deal, the basic trade-off. If you claim as early as you can, at 62, you start getting money sooner, but that monthly check is permanently smaller. But if you can wait until you're 70, your benefit actually grows every single year, and you end up with a much larger monthly payment. For folks who live a good long life, waiting can literally mean hundreds of thousands of extra dollars.
Okay, so once you've figured out Social Security, the next question is, how do you start using your own savings? And it's not just about how much to take out, but which piggy bank you break open first. Doing it in the right order can save you a bundle on taxes over the years.
So here's the sequence that experts generally recommend. You start with your regular taxable brokerage accounts. Those are usually taxed at lower capital gains rates. Then you move on to your tax-deferred accounts, like your traditional 401k, where you pay ordinary income tax on withdrawals, and you save your tax-free Roth accounts for last. Think of that Roth money as your ace in the hole, since every penny you pull out is completely tax-free.
Let's move on to Section 2, navigating hidden costs. Because a good retirement plan isn't just about the money coming in, it's also about being ready for those huge expenses that can pop up, sometimes when you least expect them.
Wow, just let that number sink in for a second. $7,513, and that's per month. That's a look at the potential cost of long-term care, and honestly, it's one of the biggest financial risks we face in retirement. If you're not ready for it, a long stay can wipe out a lifetime of savings.
So, what can you do? Well, you've basically got 2 main paths. You can get long-term care insurance, where you pay a premium and the insurance company takes on the risk. Or you can choose to self-insure, which is a fancy way of saying you'll cover the costs from your own savings. And for a lot of people who go that route, a big part of the plan is keeping their home equity safe as a last resort.
This little story, it really shines the light on a super tricky subject. In the tale, if the parents started getting more money from the government, their kids just gave them less, so they ended up right back where they started. It's a really good way to think about a tough spot a lot of retirees find themselves in: how much to financially support their adult children.
This is so important, knowing the line between helping and, enabling. It all comes from a place of love, of course, but constantly bailing out your adult children can really put your own financial future at risk. The key is to set clear boundaries. You have to remember, your retirement savings are for your retirement. And sometimes, the most valuable thing you can offer isn't money, but your wisdom and support.
You see the commercials all the time, right? Reverse mortgages. They're often sold as this easy-peasy solution for getting extra cash. But you have to be so careful and really understand the risks. The upfront costs can be high, and the loan balance gets bigger over time, which means your home equity gets smaller. And if you ever need to sell or move out, the whole loan has to be paid back. It might be the right tool for some, but for others, it can turn into a real trap.
All right, this leads us right into our third section, protecting your nest egg. So far, we've been talking about how to manage your own money. Now we need to talk about how to defend it from other people. From the outright criminals to just plain bad financial advice.
This is a real story from someone who was targeted by a scammer, and just listen to how it starts. So normal. A phone call from someone who sounds totally professional, saying they're from your bank's fraud department. They create this urgent problem that you have to fix right now, and that's exactly how they get you, by building just enough trust to knock you off balance.
So how do you spot these guys? Just look for these 4 big red flags. 1. The contact comes out of the blue. 2. They try to rush you and create a panic. 3. They start asking for personal info. And 4. They demand you pay them with something weird, like a gift card or a wire transfer. A real bank or the IRS will never, ever do that. If you sense any of this, the best thing to do is just hang up the phone.
Okay, let's shift gears from the illegal stuff to something that's perfectly legal but can still be a bit of a minefield. Your financial advisor, they work for you. But it's absolutely vital that you understand how they make their money, because it can really affect the advice they're giving you. This difference is so important. A commission-based advisor makes money when they sell you certain products, which can create a conflict of interest, right? But a fee-only advisor is paid directly by you. Their interests are aligned with yours, because when your money does well, they do well. Don't ever be afraid to ask an advisor point blank, how do you get paid? It's your money. You have a right to know.
And one last thing on this. If you ever do run into a scam, or even just think you might have, please report it. When you tell these agencies what happened, you're not just protecting yourself, you're helping them build a case and stop these criminals from hurting somebody else. Your story can make a huge difference.
All right, let's head into our final section, which is all about what I like to call smart financial housekeeping. And don't worry, this isn't complicated or scary stuff. It's really just about getting your wishes down on paper to give you and your family some serious peace of mind.
You know, when people hear the term estate plan, their eyes kind of glaze over. They think it's for millionaires with mansions, but that couldn't be further from the truth. An estate plan is just a set of instructions. It's you, in writing, telling your family and the courts exactly what you want done with your stuff and your health care if you can't speak for yourself anymore. It's really all about staying in control.
So I'm going to ask you a direct question, just a simple yes or no. Do you have these 3 essential documents in place, and are they up to date? It's a simple question, but the answer can have a huge impact on your family's future. Think of these as the 3 pillars of your plan. You've got your will, which says who gets your property. Without one, the state gets to decide for you. Then you've got a durable power of attorney. That's who you pick to handle your finances if you can't. And finally, a healthcare directive, which spells out your wishes for medical care. Getting these in place is truly one of the greatest gifts you can ever give to your loved ones.
We've covered a whole lot of ground today, from Social Security to scams to estate planning. Look, your retirement is the result of decades of your hard work and your saving. Taking a little time now to run through this financial checkup, to ask these right questions, that's the absolute best way to make sure you can enjoy these years with security and with peace of mind. Thank you so much for joining me.